Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rodriguez. In case you've forgotten what I've looked like, here I am. I haven't forgotten you though. So what I'm going to do is every day, I'm actually going to post a video at night for you to see the next day that is going to go over everything in this packet that you got. And if you didn't get a packet for whatever reason, just tell your parents to let me know, and I will get it to them somehow. I can email it to them. That's probably the only way I would be able to do it, would be to email it, because they've kind of shut down the school. I'm not allowed back in. Nobody's allowed back in. That's why this doesn't look like our classroom. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put signs up saying that this is what we're about to do, because I do not want you to watch this video all at one time, okay? The work that you're doing is not meant to be done all at one time. It's a lot of work for every day. So take your breaks, do it, do one subject and then take a break and come back and do another subject and then come back and take a break and do another subject. So I'm gonna put this up so that way you can decide, well, what subject am I going to do now? I'm going to do science, so I'm going to fast forward until I see where Miss Rodriguez is holding up the science card, because I know that that's when she's talking about science. Okay? So first I'm going to start with a morning message and a read aloud every morning. So I'm just going to tell you all any news that I have, or just anything that's not about learning or teaching. And really the biggest, most important thing I have to tell you right now is that I miss all of you. I really wish we were all together in the classroom. You might be enjoying your break, but I wish we were all together, and soon we will be. So I'm going to start with the read aloud, and I'll hold this up like I said I would be. I'll do it for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't mind my cat crawling around everywhere. He hasn't learned that this is my new classroom yet. Okay. So this is called Lily's Big Day by Kevin Henkes. And Lily, remember, we met Lily in Lily's Purple Plastic Purse, where she did something not very nice, made a not very nice drawing about her teacher because he picked up her purse because she was playing with it too much. Maybe we'll read that again. But this is Lily's Big Day. One day, Lily's teacher, Mr. Slinger, announced to the class that he was going to marry Miss Shotwell, the school nurse. Lily's heart leaped. She had always wanted to be a flower girl. It will be the biggest day of my life, said Mr. Slinger. Mine too, whispered Lily. You know what? You guys can't see this very well. You don't need to see me, but you need to see the book, so get a little bit closer. We're all learning. At home in her room, Lily practiced being a flower girl. First, she changed into something more appropriate. Then she held her head high and smiled brightly and raised her eyebrows and turned her head from side to side and carried her hands proudly in front of her and hummed, "Here Comes the Bride," and walked the length of her room very, very slowly. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It will be the biggest day of my life, said Lily. See, she's practicing. More of her practicing. Who are you pretending to be? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to read this backwards and not in the way that I'm used to. Who are you pretending to be tonight? Asked Lily's mother at dinner. I'm not pretending, said Lily. I'm a flower girl. Who's getting married? Asked the father. Mr. Slinger, said Lily. Really? Said her mother. Really, said her father. Really, said Lily. He's going to marry Miss Shotwell. He told us today, and I'm going to be the flower girl. You are? Said her father. Did Mr. Slinger ask you? Asked her mother. Not yet, said Lily. At bedtime, there's bedtime. At bedtime, Lily's mother said, "Lily, there are so many students in your class. Mr. Slinger couldn't possibly pick just one to be a flower girl." Her father said, "It wouldn't be fair. He probably has a niece," said her mother. "Maybe Aunt Mona will be getting married someday," said her father. "Do you understand what we're trying to say?" asked her mother. Lily nodded. "Are you sure?" asked her father. Lily nodded again. After her parents left her room, Lily said, "I understand that I'm going to be a flower girl." The next day at school during sharing time, Lily said, "I've always wanted to be a flower girl, even more than a surgeon or a diva or a hairdresser." The following afternoon, when Mr. Slinger had recess duty, Lily picked a handful of weeds at the edge of the playground. She carried the weeds proudly in front of her and walked very, very slowly past Mr. Slinger until the bell rang. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In the morning after that, Lily went to the lighthouse bulb in the back of the classroom. She drew a self-portrait. "This is the best drawing I've ever done in my entire complete life. It says, 'Me, Lily, the world's best and most famous flower girl. Better than the bride.'" Mr. Slinger called Lily up to his desk during quiet reading. "Lily," he said, I can tell that you want to be a flower girl, but unfortunately my niece, Ginger, is going to be the flower girl at my wedding." Lily's heart sank. "But," said Mr. Slinger, "I also want you to know that everyone in the class will be invited to the wedding. We can all dance together at the reception. It'll be fun." Lily's stomach hurt. "This seems really important to you," said Mr. Slinger. Lily's cheeks turned pink. "You know," said Mr. Slinger, "I was just thinking that you might like to be Ginger's assistant. You could stand with her and keep her company until she has to walk down the aisle. You could make sure her dress isn't crooked and that she holds her flowers properly." Lily considered this. "You could remind her to walk slowly," said Mr. Slinger. Lily considered some more. "You could wear a corsage," said Mr. Slinger. "Oh, all right," said Lily, "if you really need me so much." She's going, "This is flower girl advice. It says, don't forget to pay." Lily tried to get excited about being Ginger's assistant. "You're not listening," she's trying to give her advice. "Weddings wouldn't even exist without flower girl assistants," she told her baby brother, Julius. "I have a special responsibility," she told her parents. When her Grammy took her shopping for a new dress for the wedding, Lily told the clerk, "A flower girl assistant is very important and glamorous." But when it really sank in that she would not be walking down the aisle carrying a bouquet with everyone watching, Lily pretended that her teddy bear was Mr. Slinger. She made him sit in the uncooperative chair. "You can just stay there forever," she said. As the wedding drew near, Mr. Slinger counted down the days on the chalkboard. "One day close to the biggest day of my life," he would say. "One day closer to the biggest day of Ginger's life," Lily would whisper. And still, at home in her room, Lily practiced. She held her head high, and she smiled brightly, and raised her eyebrows, and turned her head from side to side, and carried her hands proudly in front of her, and hummed, "Here Comes the Bride," and walked the length of her room very, very slowly, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The day of the wedding finally arrived. Lily hoped and hoped that Ginger would have pink eye or a bad fever and not show up. That's not very nice. But she was there, and she was all ready. Her dress was straight, and she held her flowers properly. "Are you sure you want to do this?" said Lily. "Yes," said Ginger. "Are you sure you're sure?" "Yes." "Are you really sure that you're sure?" Lily hoped and hoped that Ginger would change her mind, but she didn't. It was time for the ceremony to begin. The music swelled. Everyone stood. The moment came for Ginger to walk down the aisle. Ginger didn't move. Mr. Slinger motioned her forward. "Go," said Lily. Ginger was frozen. "Now," said Lily. Ginger was as still as a stone. "You can do it," said Lily. But Ginger couldn't. Everyone waited and waited and waited. No one knew what to do except Lily. Lily scooped up Ginger and said, "Here we go." Then Lily walked very, very slowly down the aisle. She held her head high and smiled brightly and raised her eyebrows and turned her head from side to side and carried Ginger proudly in front of her. When she reached Mr. Slinger, everyone clapped. "I knew this would be the biggest day of my life," said Lily. Lily was so excited she barely noticed the rest of the ceremony. The reception was great fun. After the cake was served, Lily coached Ginger from the next time. After the cake was served, Lily coached Ginger for the next time that she would be a flower girl. "I won't be with you at every wedding," said Lily. "I won't be able to save you every time." Together they walked back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, very, very slowly. Soon they were dancing. And soon after that, they were joined by Chester, Wilson, Victor, Julius, Mr. Slinger, Miss Shotwell, and many others. "It's interpretive dance," said Mr. Slinger. Here they're all dancing. "We're doing the flower girl," said Lily. Lily's family stayed on the reception until Lily was perfectly exhausted. "But there's something I have to do before we go," said Lily. She needed to find Ginger one last time. And when she did, she said, "Ginger, when I get married, you can be my flower girl." Oh, that was sweet. Okay, so now I want you to take a second and I want you to think about, like we always do in class, what you liked or what you did not like about that book. So think about that for 1 second and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and now we are going to do writing. So if you're here to work on writing, this is where you will go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so for writing your packet, you had, I'm sorry, my computer turned off. Let's see, get it ready again. Okay, it looks like this, okay? It says, "Tell about a time when you had to say goodbye to someone. Tell the events in order and how it made you feel." So I want you to make sure that you check for capital letters on your first word in every sentence, punctuation, and I want at least 5 sentences. If you want to, if it'll help you, you can use the back of this page to do a beginning, middle, and end, like a box for a beginning, a box for middle, and a box for end, and draw pictures of something that happened when you had to say goodbye to somebody. And then just write down your story. After you write your story, then I want you to check for those things. Did you capitalize the first letter of every sentence? Do you have at least 5 sentences? Do those sentences make sense? If you were to just read one sentence by itself, would it make sense? Does it talk about a person, place, or thing, and then what that person, place, or thing did? Or does it just say only one of those things? Remember, for it to be a complete sentence, it has to have both. So that's for writing. You'll just go ahead and follow those directions on there. But there's nothing to teach. It's just a writing prompt. You can spend as little or as much time as you want, as long as you make sure it's at least 5 sentences. And I want to see that those sentences have at least capitalization and punctuation. Okay, so we're going to move on to reading. Here's reading. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So for reading, you're going to read this story. What I'm going to do is I want you to do your best to read it on your own. And if you can read it on your own, great. Just go ahead and pause the video and read it on your own. If you get stuck though, then I'm going to go ahead and read and point to the words so that way you can read along with me. I'll read slowly and I'll be pointing to the words so that way you can read along with me, and I'll go ahead and do that for the questions as well. Go ahead and try doing it by yourself first, but then if you get stuck, then go back to where it says reading and follow along with me as I read it. You're not going to be able to see me when I do this because I'm going to have my phone pointed down at the tablet so that way you can see the words better as I'm reading them, okay? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to turn the camera around. Okay, I'll just do it this way. I don't think this is going to work. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a second video with the readings because it's not just this reading, it is another one too. So I'm going to post a second video with the readings with the camera turned around the right way. So there'll be 2 videos a day. There'll be one for all of the lessons and then one where we did the readings. But for reading, after you read this passage called Jake Sees a Tunnel for Monday, then it just has 5 questions on there, and you'll just pick one of the answer choices for each one. You can only pick one answer choice. And then, and I'll go ahead and I'll read through those questions and answers on a separate video for you. And then the last question though says, what do you think Jake did after he ran into the water? So it doesn't tell you that. It doesn't tell you what he did, but I just want you to use your imagination and tell me what you think he did. There's not a right answer or a wrong answer. I just want you to tell me what you think might have happened. Okay, so now we're going to go on to phonics. Phonics. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So phonics. You have this R-controlled vowel sheet, okay? So I'm going to go over really quick what the R-controlled vowels are. Okay, so we have paper right here. And my markers. Okay, so first we'll talk about AR, okay? AR is like a pirate, okay? AR says R, like a pirate, okay? Some words that have AR are ark. See the AR in there? Barn, barn. See the AR in there? Start. Start. Okay. Farm. Farm. Okay. So all of those say R for AR. Okay. So that is the R-controlled vowel sound for AR. Another R-controlled vowel is O. O, when it is in front of a vowel. I know you guys know this because it's a sight word, but a lot of times we see those two letters together inside of a word, and it says or. O-R says or. Okay, so let's think about corn, or corn. Storm, we had one of those last night. I don't know if you guys got it, but I sure did. Storm. Born. Born. And let me think of another one. Can you think of one? Try and think of one, and we'll see if we think of the same one together. I know, it's something that we eat with, a fork. Or fork. Okay, so OR can say, or it does say or. Okay, and then the last, all of the other vowels, they all make the same sound when R is bossy with it. So I'm talking about IR, ER, and UR. They all say like finger, or there's turn, to earn, says or there's fern, IR. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal a word from the worksheet because I put on the spot and I can't think of an IR word. Oh, girl. Girl. Okay. So just remember that anytime you have IR, ER, or UR, and I'll go ahead and I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it on Dojo for your parents to see, so that way it's not just in this video. I'll take a picture so you can see it better. Anytime you have an R controlling a vowel, those are the sounds that they make. So I'll just review over this again. AR says R, OR says or, IR, ER, and UR say Okay, so why don't you read these words with me? This says R, ark, park, art, start, arn, barn. Arm, farm. Okay? Now OR says or, k, orn, corn. St, orm, storm. B, orn, forn. F, orc, fork. For both IR, ER, and UR. We have the ING, remember, says ing. Inger, finger. Earn, turn. Earn, fern. Earl, girl. Okay, so those are all our controlled vowels. So on the phonics section for today, you're going to be working with that. And actually, every single day this week, you're going to be doing this. So for the rest of the week, I'm just going to be reviewing this, going over the words in the R controlled vowels again, but the lesson will be a lot shorter. So for your R control vowel part, you have a bunch of words in these boxes up here. Those are the words that you're going to use. Okay, the words that are in the boxes are what you're going to fill in the blanks with what makes sense. All right. So that's you'll just fill in the blanks with what makes sense using those words that are inside of those boxes. But now you know how to read those words inside of those boxes because you know what those are controlled vowels say. Alrighty, so we are ready for math. Math. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Math. Okay. All right, so for math, every day you're going to get 2 word problems to do. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll do the word problem, or I will do a word problem as an example for you every day, an addition and a subtraction one. And we're going to go over our steps to refresh your memory on what our steps are. And then you're going to do the same word problem on your packet, but your numbers are going to be different. It'll be the same story, but the numbers will just be changed because I want to see you work it out with your own numbers and maybe use a different strategy if you feel comfortable. So let me go ahead and start with our first math problem. Okay, it says that there are 20 cows, 12 cows walk away, and how many cows are there? Now that is your word problem, okay? That is one you're gonna solve. So I'm not going to solve that same problem because then you don't get a chance to practice. And that would be mean of me not even giving you a chance to practice math. So I'm gonna change the numbers. I'm going to say that there are 15 cows and 7 walked away. So 7 waked away, 7 walked away. Now how many cows are there? Okay, so remember our first step, and I am going to write all those steps down and take a picture to send it to your parents so that way you can look at those steps every single time. But our first step is going to be to write our beginning, middle, and end like we always practice, okay? So I'm gonna do our first step is our B, M, E. We'll make our little chart. All coming back to you now. Okay, so what did we start out with? It says there are 15 cows. So we started out with 15 cows. I'm going to put 15 down here and then I'm going to write cows. You know what? I'm bring this a little bit closer. There. 15 cows. Okay, so after there's 15 cows, then what was the action? Remember, the action always takes place in the middle in our math problems. So 7 walked away. 7 of those cows walked away. So I'm going to put 7 walked away. Okay, now the end is how many cows are there? Do we know how many cows are left? No, we don't. So that will be our unknown, okay? So that was our first step. We did our beginning, middle, and end. So now we'll come over here and we'll do our second step. And that's going to be that we're going to write our number sentence. So we know we started out with 15. So 15 is going to be the first number in my number sentence. Now, if 7 cows walked away, we want to try and remember, okay, is that a joining action or is that a separating action? Are we bringing more cows together or are we separating them out, getting them out with a minus sign? So walked away, let me give you a second to tell me what it is. Addition or subtraction? Plus or minus? You're right, it's subtraction. So I'll do 15 minus, and how many of them walked away? 7. And then do we know what happened after? We know what happened, what the total number of cows is after that? No. So I'm going to put my question mark. Okay? So there's my question mark. So now our next step is we are going to pick a strategy and try and solve. Okay? So number 3, I'm going to think of a strategy, and I think for this one, I'm going to use a picture, okay? You can use a picture for yours too, or you could use a 10 frames. I gave you lots of ideas in your packet of things that you can use, and you guys are awesome about thinking about all of the different tools and strategies you can use. I know that I'm going to see so many different creative ways to solve this problem. So I'm just going to draw a picture, okay? So I'm going to start out with how many? 15. So remember, in math, we don't need to be artists, so I'm just going to draw a picture. I like to draw my picture in sets of 5. It just makes it easier for me. Let me count and make sure I have 15 cows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I have 15, and what do I need to do? I need to take away 7. So with these circles, what am I going to do to the circles? Am I going to add more? No, I already can hear you all saying, no, what are you thinking? I'm not going to add more circles. We're going to take some away. So I'm going to cross them out. How many am I going to cross out? That's right, 7. So I'm going to start at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and now we want to know how many cows do we have left? So how many cows do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7. So then our next step would be, now we're going to write our number sentence complete with our answer, okay? So my number sentence complete is going to be still the 15. 15 minus 7 equals question mark. We don't want to put the question mark because now we think we know what the answer was, right? We think that it is 7. So we're going to put 7. Okay? 15 minus 7 equals 7. Let's see if I'm right. And I'm going to trick you. You'll see. Do you think I'm right? Was it 7? Let me show you why it's important to double check our work. I'm going to use a different strategy. I'm going to use a different strategy to see if I am right. Okay, so I'm going to use a number line. So my next strategy is to use a number line and make sure I get the same answer. Do I still get 7? Let's see. So here's my number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to start out with 15. I'm at 15, and I'm going to jump back. I'm going to bring this closer so that you can see this better. I'm at 15, and I'm going to jump back 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm supposed to land on 7. Did I land on 7? No, I landed on 8. So that means that I did not do my work correctly the first time, which is okay, that happens. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double check my work in my picture. Did I start out with 15 like I was supposed to? Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I did. Did I cross out 7? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did cross out 7. So then I thought I was left with 7 left. Let's see if I was left with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was left with 8. So actually that should be 8. And my number line answer was correct. So now I double checked my work and I know for sure that my silly mistake was corrected, and that's okay because now I'm confident that I have the right answer. If you got the same answer both times, then you can be pretty sure you did a good job. So my last step is going to be, I'm going to write the answer in a complete sentence. This is what I want to see on your paper, guys. Okay, I'm going to write it in a complete sentence. So the question was, remember we talked about how do we know what the question is? What are we going to ask? Our question was, how many cows are there? So I can say, there are how many cows? 8, because this was not supposed to be that, it was supposed to be 8. There are 8 cows. Okay? So that was us solving our subtraction problem. Okay? So that was a subtraction problem. I'm going to now do an addition problem because you guys have an addition problem with the unknown that is not at the end. The unknown is somewhere else in the problem. So I'm going to refresh your memory on that. Okay, so your problem says there are 9 bows in a basket. Mary put some more bows in the basket. She counted a total of 18 bows in the basket. How many bows did Mary add to her basket? Okay, so I'm going to do there are 7 bows in a basket. Mary put some more bows in her basket. And think about that story. Make a mind movie about what's happening, okay? Mary put some more bows in her basket. Think about if we know how many she's putting in there. Some more bows. And then it says she counted a total of 18 bows in her basket. So after she added her bows, then she counted a total of 18 bows in her basket after she added those new ones. And the question was, how many bows did Mary add to her basket? Does it ask how many bows does she have in all? Does it ask how many bows did she have left? No. Okay, so remember our first step is going to be our beginning, middle, and end. What happened at the beginning? So we always want to go back and read the problem. There are 7 bows in a basket. Okay, so we know that happened at the beginning, that there's 7 bows. Mary put some more bows in the basket. Do we know how many more she put in there? Some. Remember we talked about sum's not a number. If I say go get me some paper and then I get mad at you because you didn't give me the right amount of paper, that's not fair because I didn't tell you how much. So we don't know how many bows she added. Okay, and then after she added them, then after that she counted a total of 18 bows in her basket. Okay, so there's our beginning, middle, and end. So now we'll go over to number 2, which our second step, remember, was we are going to write the number sentence. So I know we're starting with 7. And then we need to have our operation, right? It says that she put some more bows in her basket. So are we joining more bows together in the basket, or are we separating them? What do you think? Joining them, that's right. 7 plus our middle, which we don't know, I'm gonna put a question mark, equals 18. Okay? Now remember that these numbers one number is a little bit different from the one in your problem. So this isn't exactly the same as yours. The answer is gonna be a little bit different. So 7 plus question mark equals 18. So now we're gonna pick a strategy and solve. Okay, for this one, I think I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use 10 frames. I think I'm going to use 10 frames. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my 10 frames. Sorry, just fast forward. It's the first day we're working everything out. Okay, so I'm gonna put you to where you can see my 10 frames. Okay, can you see them? Good. Okay, so we know that she started out with 7 bows in her basket. So I'm gonna put 7 bows, and the ones that are already in her basket are going to be green. You know what, guys, actually, I don't have the right number, so I'll actually go ahead and do it the way you can do it with different colors on the paper. That would probably be better anyway, being that, you know, I mean, I don't keep 10 frames in my house, so I wouldn't expect everybody to keep them there. So what I'm gonna do instead is we're gonna just draw them. I'll draw the 10 frames here, and we know that at the end we have to have 18. So I know that I need at least 2 10 frames, because if we count by 10, so 10, 20, then that means we need at least 2. So there's 1. All right. So in one color, I'm going to do the bows that she already had in her basket. I'll go ahead and I'll do that in blue. So we know that she had 7 bows in her basket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. blue is what she already had in her basket. I'm going to use orange to show the number that she added to her basket. Now, it doesn't tell us how many she added to her basket, right? It doesn't tell us, but we know that when it's all over, we have to have 18. So I'm gonna fill it up until I get to 18, okay? So let's see. Do I have 18 yet? No. Do I have 18 yet? No? No. Do I have 18 now? Tell me when to stop. Okay, I heard you. You said to stop. There, I have 18. Okay, so remember, blue is how many she had in her basket to start with, and then orange was for how many she added to her basket. Now, I wasn't counting how many to add to the basket. I just knew that I had to stop when I had 18 dots in all. Okay, so now I can count how many orange dots I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I got 11 right here. So now our next step is going to be to write the number sentence the way that it would be if we did not have an unknown. So I have 7 plus, no question mark anymore because we got 11 equals 18. And then I'm going to just see if that is correct. I'm going to see if that's correct just by drawing a picture. Okay, so if I have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then if I have 11 more, and I join them together, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I want to see, do I really have 18? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes, I do have 18. So that means that we were correct. 11 is exactly how many bows she added to her basket. So I'm going to write that in a complete sentence for step number 6. I forgot to number step number 5. That was where we double checked our work with a new strategy. So now I'm going to write in a complete sentence. It asks us, how many bows did Mary add to her basket? So we can say, Mary added how many? How many did she add? Mary added 11 bows to her basket. Okay? So that was math. Okay, so you also have a couple of worksheets on there, just a couple questions about shapes and about and with addition and subtraction, but they're really easy. It's the stuff that we've gone over and practiced before, so I'm not going to go over that. It actually goes over it on the sheets. It's a little bit of a review of what we already did, so I'll go ahead and I'll leave that for you to do. If you have questions though, please ask me, okay? Teachers are here still to teach, so please ask me if you have questions, and I will definitely get back with you during the same day, as long as it's, during a normal school day. And I usually would get back with you if it's at night too, but for sure if it's during a regular school day, then I'll get back with you that same day. So we're going to go into social studies. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so social studies, you all have a story, and it's about American symbols that you're going to read. And again, I'll post another video with us reading the stories together. But after you read the stories, it asks you to, what facts did you learn about the symbols in the book? So I want you to go back and look at the book. The book is at the end of your packet. It's not with Monday's lesson because you're going to be using the same book all week. So it's at the very end of your packet. It's called American Symbols. It's a Reading A to Z book. And we just put that book inside of the packet for you. So you'll just write a sentence or 2 sentences or however much you want to do about what facts did you learn about the symbols in this book. Okay, and again, I will do a reading of the book with you, so that way you can follow along. I want you to try and read it on your own, but I also want you to, instead of getting discouraged if it's a little too difficult, please read along with me, and then read along with me lots and lots of times until you start feeling comfortable reading it on your own. Okay? Just like we do at school, where we read together and we read the same story lots and lots and lots of times. That's what you're doing for science and social studies. We're reading the same story lots and lots and lots of times throughout the week, and then you can just listen to me read it over and over and over again. But make sure you follow with your finger when I'm reading it, okay? And you've had lots of practice with that. I know that you'll do great. So science. Science. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so for science, there's another story. It's the same story for the whole week. And after you're done reading it, it's about living and non-living things. And after you're done reading that story, then you're going to draw a picture of something that's living. That's all you have to do. Draw a picture of one living thing. It could be any living thing that you want. You guys have a ton of work every day. So if it says all you have to do is draw a picture and it doesn't say you have to write sentences or label it, you only have to draw the picture. Okay, don't feel like you have to do a lot more because it doesn't seem like it was asking a lot because there's a lot of other work here. Okay, so that is it for science, and that was my last lesson for this video. Again, I really hope that you did not watch this whole video, almost an hour long, all in one sitting. It's going to, after a couple of days, you're gonna be so burned out on all this stuff if you try to do it all in one sitting. We don't do it all in one sitting at school, guys, so don't try and do it all in one sitting at home. Do one subject, take a break. Do another subject, take a break. Work until you feel like you can't sit down anymore. Go run outside, play, do whatever your parents want you to do, and then come back inside and go ahead and start working again. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video for right now. I'm sorry that it was a little bit rough. This was the first day, so tomorrow's video will be much better. All right, I will see you all soon. Bye.